Hello and welcome back to Calradia 1403. We're gonna go in to this wonderful battle, and I was actually attempting to besiege Rhodoks here. Unfortunately, Ingalfa decided to come and support them, and as you see, the town garrison has now sallied out. So we have to deal with every single person here. There is a huge number of enemies, and I'm a little bit worried. Yes, I'm a little bit worried. It might be maybe a bit more than we can chew. I don't know. It very much depends. So let's actually see what we can do here. This is obviously... Oh, wait a minute. Hello there. Alright, nope. This is absolutely fine. If the enemy decides to be aggressive, this is going to be fine. We are not going to have any issues whatsoever. This is going to be very, very easy for us. Or at least... maybe not easy, but it's going to be okay. You know, we're going to be all right. You know, we're going to be fine. Let me just put them into a shield wall formation. I want to make sure that they're a little bit closer together. Put them, I guess, somewhere like here. And then we'll put the archers over here, put them into a loose formation. I don't really want them to be super close to the infantry, but I think this is relatively decent as it is. As you can see, massive amounts of elevation that they have right here. So you can see the archers will easily be able to shoot over, which is what we usually try to do anyway. And we're just going to put this cavalry person over here. Is that me, by the way? I don't know whether that's me as the cavalry. No, it was just some random guy. All right, well, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell our crossbowmen to hold fire. Even though, now, you know, obviously bear in mind, crossbowmen have a very, very slow rate of fire. But I do want to make sure that they're not just firing randomly into the distance and nothing is actually happening. They're not going to be hitting them that easily. It's going to be very, very difficult to hit them from here. Now, how many enemies do I have to deal with? 452. Okay. Oh dear. That is a bit of a problem, isn't it? That is a bit of a problem. Okay, let's start firing now then, I guess. Yeah, I'm actually not entirely sure if this is even going to work. Because the enemy... Well, oh, we've got some kills. We've got some kills actually starting up right here. Bear in mind that obviously what we need to primarily do is we need to defend against the enemy's infantry. However, the main problem we're going to have is the cavalry, because they have a significant amount of those. Can I actually... Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I can't slow down the game and actually look at the scoreboard at the same time. So, unfortunate for me that I will not have the ability to do that right now. So, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to act as a little distraction here. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just literally going to run in front of the cavalry, just a small amount, just to try and distract some of the enemy's cavalry, try to get them to chase me somewhat, and that's it. That is literally it. That is all I could really do there in that initial chase. Unfortunately for me, now if I can just do a little bit extra here, maybe I can, you know, attack some people. Maybe I could try to hit them a little bit. Yeah. Well, so far as far as I could tell, this is actually working quite nicely, just primarily because the enemy is unable to get to our archers. They are unable to get to our archers completely. So this is fantastic. This is really, really good, actually. And just bear in mind, think about the amount of infantry that are actually in this area here. The amount of infantry that's in this area, they are fundamentally unable to do anything at all. Because most of them are in the back. And they're not able to get to the front and actually deal with our shield wall. And that's the reason why I actually put them into a shield wall in a relatively tight formation, or obviously tried to be as, you know, tightly packed as possible, so that we could potentially make it so that the initial area of attack, or shall we say the area that the enemy could potentially reach us in, is impossible for them. Because then they're just going to have only a couple of units, but we're basically trying to simulate a bottleneck. That's what I'm trying to explain right now. That's the hope, at least, because what they're going to do is they're going to have a limited amount of people that can attack our forces from the frontal area. And if they were to, you know, try to get around or anything like that, then of course we have a secondary line, a third line, of people that can actually do damage. So that's the hope at least. Anyway, as you can see, we've lost a grand total of 10 people. And the enemy has lost over 100, which is, I think, pretty decent. Because that means that if the ratio holds true, which it's not going to, but let's just say that if it does hold true, we will probably lose a grand total of 50 units in this particular battle, which is not actually that bad. That's pretty good, you know, that's okay. So we might be alright here if we can manage to live. And now I'm just going to, once again, I'm going to do a little bit of distraction here. Maybe they're going to follow me. No, they didn't. Okay, kind of unfortunate that they didn't. This guy did, but everyone else didn't. Okay, maybe we could just try to distract some of them. Because, of course, they're going to try to attack my crossbowmen, but this is the funny thing. Me placing my crossbowmen up here has actually dramatically increased the chances of them basically doing no damage. Because it's going to require a significant amount of speed, right? It's going to make going up there very, very difficult because they're going to have to approach it from a very strange angle, and the angle itself is just difficult to deal with, right? It's just very, very difficult to deal with. So that's the hope, at least, that they're going to slow down dramatically and their damage output is going to be affected. I am actually losing quite a few additional units right now, which is a little bit problematic, but I can only hope that we're not losing anything too dramatic at the moment. I don't know. You know, we should be okay. At least I hope so. I'm wondering, should I tell my people to charge in right now? I don't think so, actually. I don't think so. I think we're actually doing dramatically better than I thought. You know, I thought this was actually going to be a pretty harsh fight. And it is a harsh fight, don't get me wrong, but I think I should hold fast with our command right now. I don't think I should go and just fold with our formation. If they decide to retreat once again, I think I might charge after them. Maybe that would be an idea. I mean, you can see our crossbowmen are actually doing some pretty good damage as well, surprisingly enough. Yeah, let's tell them to charge. I'll tell my guys to charge. Why not? Let's do it. I am thinking that would probably be a good idea because we do have a number of enemy crossbowmen actually doing some massive damage to us right now, which is maybe not great. A lot of our people actually don't have shields, surprisingly, as well. Because, you know, let's face it, some of them are indeed just equipped with pole axes and, you know, various other polearm-based, polearm-based equipment. And that is indeed going to make a pretty hefty difference to how effective they are at blocking, of course, because if you don't have a shield, how are you going to block, right? So it's going to be a bit problematic, but yeah, as you can see, the infantry has completely decided to run away. And, oh yeah, I should put these guys into a line formation as well, because I don't know whether that makes any difference to them actually moving faster, especially when the charge order comes in, but, you know, we're just going to make sure that everything is good. Okay, so we can put these guys into an auto-delegate now. We're just going to tell them to skirmish, because that's going to make things a bit more difficult for the cavalry, hopefully. And we're just going to do some damage to the enemy's crossbowmen as best as I can. There we go. Ah, yes, my horse is dead. Well, that's to be expected, of course. That kind of thing tends to happen. And we should be absolutely fine. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. It seems like my is my estimate, is my approximation of our casualties actually going to hold true here? That would be very funny if it does. That would be extremely funny if it does, because I said, oh yes, we're going to lose about 50. Going to lose about 50 units total. And it does seem as though they are going to retreat in just a moment. Yep, there is the retreat, and we literally lost 49. Are you serious? That is hilarious. That is extremely funny, because I thought to myself, no, there's no way. We're going to lose either very much less than that, or we're going to lose very much more than that. But no, it seems like we ended up losing almost exactly 50, which is very surprising. Usually my estimates are completely off, so that's actually quite nice. Anyway, I am going to be taking these guys prisoner, as we do, you know. There's a couple of vassals in there. And we're just going to be taking a couple of very high tier troops. And oh, look at how many level ups we have available here. Look at this. Oh, they are all fully leveled. This is insane. All right, yeah, so we've basically got very few tier 3s now. My army is almost 100% maximum tier of unit, which is extremely cool, I gotta say. That's very, very fun. Now, I am going to take a look at some of these pieces of gear. Oh, wow. What is this horse armor? This horse armor is incredible. Wow, that is insanely, insanely fun. All right, yeah, that's definitely going to make a huge difference to our horse. And, oh yeah, there's actually something that I wanted to mention. The mod, Calradia 1403, has just received a very, very cool addition in the form of handguns. Oh yeah, you got some firearms in this now. I haven't actually updated it yet, but I just wanted to let you know. So if you're more interested in firearm combat, or in general, if you want to have something like that in sort of like a warband space, then you have it. It's available. It's available right now, so you can go and get that if you so desire. And there will be a link in the description, of course, to the download page, as there always is. So yeah, anyway, let me see. What can I do now? Do we want scouting skill? Do we want leadership? No, I don't think we want that. Do we want engineering? Because I think I'm the only engineer, are we not? Wait a minute, I need to go to clan here. Yeah, I am the only engineer. That is hilarious. Okay, yeah, so that means that I should probably level up my engineering skill, shouldn't I? I don't really want to, because I think that that is a complete waste, but I'm going to anyway, just because. And there's still... Really? They still have 400? Oh, I'm actually very surprised about this. I'm actually very, very surprised about that. Okay, well... Never mind. I guess that's fine. I guess we could just spend a little bit of time constructing some things, and that's going to get us some pretty hefty, well, hopefully at least, some pretty hefty engineering skill. And then we can hopefully go in. I was actually going to starve out the garrison because they had about 300 people in the garrison, plus militia, of course. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, we're going to, we're going to just starve them out. It's not going to take me too long. I mean, 2 weeks in-game is quite significant. But I was willing to do that before the episode, because then at least it would be done, and then we could just go straight on in there and just completely obliterate the militia presence in the garrison there. But unfortunately, no, that is not going to happen. So what we're going to do now is we're probably going to be doing a 25% chance, less 25% chance of ranged siege engines being hit while under bombardment. I think that seems pretty decent. I'm not sure if that actually only applies to defensive sieges or not, but if it does provide us with any kind of dodge chance at all, because technically it is a dodge chance sort of mechanic, it feels like that to me at least, then that's good. Alright, so we just voted to give Graveth the Veron Castle, which has apparently just been taken. And we are now going to be joining the siege. Now, it's a little bit funny, actually, because Graveth is the one that joined our siege here. And he decided to do some pretty weird stuff. I don't actually understand what he was really doing, because all intents and purposes, we had already built the battering ram and the siege tower, and usually, and I think this is probably because of RBM, but usually in regular base game Bannerlord, AI, they're just going to care about building one siege tower and one battering ram, and that's it. And they're just going to go straight on in then. That's usually what happens. Sometimes they'll wait a little bit longer, but that is pretty much it. Then they'll just straight away go on in. In this case, however, Graveth waited until the food was completely and utterly gone. And I thought that was quite strange, because usually the AI does not do that. He waited until the food was gone, and he also attempted to destroy one of the walls. Obviously that did not work, unfortunately. So we're going to have to speed things up a little bit here. And, well, we're doing significant damage to the opponent because obviously we have so many wonderful sharpshooters. The sharpshooters are always absolutely fantastic. They're very, very good at what they do, of course. And, yeah, now we're inside. And now we'll hopefully be able to do some damage to these militia as well. And as you can see, look at the damage that we can deal. The damage that we can deal with this sword is absolutely amazing because obviously they're wearing light armor. Most of these militia are wearing light armor, so using a blunt weapon or anything like that, it's not really necessary against these guys. But it just goes to show you don't necessarily need a crazy powerful weapon or anything like that to be able to deal damage. Like, yeah, sure, my sword is actually pretty good, don't get me wrong. My sword is probably some of the best that I've seen, and it is very strong, but it is definitely not one of those weapons that you'd think will just destroy any target whatsoever. But that's the reason why RBM is quite interesting to play with. I know some people don't like it, which is obviously absolutely fine, completely understandable. There are a number of reasons why that might be, but it is cool to play with it sometimes because you do have that you know, a little additional depth to the you know, to the fighting, and you know, the damage. What is it? Damage modifiers, damage. What is the word I'm looking for right here? Damage profiles. That's it. The damage profiles of the specific weapons and the specific armor that you're going to be fighting against. Like, for example, like I just said, light armor. Obviously, if you have a slashing weapon, it's going to be a lot easier to do damage to light armor with a slashing weapon than it would be if you're fighting against plate. If you're fighting against primarily Swadian knights, for example, then you probably want to get your hands on a blunt weapon, or at the very least, a piercing weapon, because then you're going to be doing a little bit more damage, but a piercing weapon would primarily be good against chainmail rather than anything else. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. That is indeed a victory for us. We did end up losing a couple of sharpshooters, a couple of sergeants, but that is not really that big a deal. I personally don't really care about that too much. Anyway, we're just going to be taking some of these. There we go. Take some of those sergeants and sharpshooters and so on. And whoa. Yeah, we could actually do this. Decreased melee damage taken. This is such a... I gotta say, sometimes these descriptions are so weird because it says decreased taken melee attack damage. Why is it ordered like that? I don't know. I don't know why that is. That's not due to the mod, by the way. That is a base game thing. That is a base game thing. So yeah, it's kind of strange. Anyway, yeah, let's actually see here. The question is, do we want to take this? Decreased melee damage taken. That could be pretty good. 15% reduced damage. You know what? I am actually going to take that. I don't think we need the damage, as in, I don't think we need damage output. And instead, having the ability to reduce damage taken could be significant, especially if we are playing as Rhodoks, and which we are, of course, because Rhodoks are primarily defensive creatures. And having the ability to defend so dramatically, I think that is probably going to be, well, defend and indeed reduce the amount of damage that we're taking significantly is definitely going to be the way to go. So, yeah, anyway. I do have the ability to actually convert some of these guys to our side, which is hilarious. Usually I personally prefer not to do that, but I am going to do that this time around. And let's actually see what happens to Revolt. I wouldn't mind getting it myself, actually. It would be pretty fun if they were to give this to me. So I'm actually just going to chill around a little bit here. And we're going to see what happens, because I could be on the ticket. I could be. It is very much a case of whether they think that I have too much. So, yeah, let's just see. Because it is very close to Ostican, which is my other fief, of course. And I am actually on the ticket. Let's see. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to get it, unfortunately. I only have... Yeah. Aradwir did not give me enough influence, unfortunately. So you could see here that he gave me 20, and Urgion gave Luachan 100, which is clearly... that's clearly going to win, isn't it? Yes, that's clearly going to win. So I am just going to vote for him, because he was going to win anyway, so I might as well gain a little bit of charm skill in the process. And yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I guess it's okay. And we can indeed donate the prisoners here as well, which is pretty nice and easy, right? You know, we could just immediately do that. And we're not going to gain any charm skill from that, unfortunately, but that's okay. Now, we are going to go over to Terrae Castle here. Now, Terrae Castle, obviously, pretty cool, because this is literally by itself now, and there's only 300 troops there. I think, actually, you know what? I'm going to go for a bit of a blitz here. A bit of a blitz attack. This is going to be very... I wouldn't say risky, but I would definitely say that this is much higher risk than if I were to wait until the garrison was completely eliminated. Because if you take a look here, the garrison does have a couple of sharpshooters, does have some, you know, crossbowmen and skirmishers and so on and so forth. And this is the funny thing about crossbowmen. Obviously not so much maybe with the RBM mod installed, but when you are dealing with crossbowmen in base game Bannerlord and potentially without RBM installed in this mod as well, crossbowmen are really, really dangerous. And it doesn't matter whether you're playing against crossbowmen that are max rank or crossbowmen that are the lowest rank. If they have a decent crossbow, and I'm talking about anything above a light crossbow, you can probably best bet that they're going to be inflicting quite some damage on you. And it doesn't really matter, as I say, what kind of skill they have in the crossbow. Because, yeah, sure, it is going to make a big difference to their damage to a certain degree. But many cases, it does not matter. Many cases, you literally will just take a headshot or any shot from a crossbow, and it's going to do a lot of damage. At least that's what I've found in the past, especially when playing against the Rhodoks in Warband. In Warband, the crossbowmen do so much damage, it's actually frightening. I might die here. Let me just, yeah, okay. Whew. We made it. We made it, but unfortunately, I think I'm gonna die anyway. Yep. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's what happens, though. That's what happens, you see? I just got absolutely massacred immediately, but that's okay. I think we should be alright. It just very much depends. Let's actually have a look here. I might... As I said, this is high risk. Yeah, no, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Whew. Okay, wait a minute. I was thinking to myself right there that we were going to lose. I thought we were actually going to lose there. I was hovering. Could you tell? I was literally just... My eyes were stuck on the casualty screen. Oh, wait. Oh. We're having issues. We're having issues. It's because this is a two-stage castle. This is a two-stage castle to capture. No wonder this is so difficult. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we ended up... Wow, that was an insane amounts of casualties. That just goes to show you cannot take garrisons like this lightly. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's so funny as well because the amount of kills that these guys got, look at this. It's skirmishers and militia getting most of the kills. The garrison didn't even really do much, but I'm going to assume that they being there, just purely being there, was the main reason why that did anything. And you can see here we ended up losing quite a few Rhodoks sergeants and sharpshooters and things like that. But again, this is not really that big a deal. You know the reason why this isn't a big deal? Because when we have this kind of thing happen, the only thing that I'm concerned with is just gaining some renown. That's it. Because we've gained renown right now, right? And this renown is basically a trade for all those units. Which is, well, it's not good. Don't get me wrong. It's not good for us to lose those units. Because, let's face it, no one wants to really lose that many units. However, it's not bad either. Because we've gained a significant amount of renown. And we are inherently capable of getting those units back pretty fast, actually. Pretty fast. But look at my maximum company size now. My maximum company size is 174. Did I actually... Yes, look! We just reached clan tier 5. We just reached clan tier 5 just because of that. Because of being able to do exactly what we just did, which is to capture something so incredibly risky. It gave me 221, you know? 221 renown in one siege is actually pretty incredible. Anyway, Terrae Castle is obviously going to be... now they want to give this to me. Okay, you want to give me a castle? Okay, I'm going to say no to this, actually, because I... Do I want to say no to it? I mean, technically... Okay, you know what? I am actually going to vote for myself. I am just going to take it. I'm going to take it just purely because I think I could probably make it into a relatively decent fief. Because its prosperity is absolutely terrible right now, I'm going to assume, right? So we could make it into a decent fief, because prosperity for me usually goes up pretty fast. And yeah, we're hopefully going to have something happening there. Now let me just sell... Ooh, yeah, look at this. I'm just literally selling random stuff, random swords and things like that. And look at how much cash we're getting. Obviously, cash isn't even... We don't even need money right now, do we? We don't even need money. But yeah, this is exactly what's happening here. Look at this. This is just absolutely crazy. The speed at which we are doing this is amazing. And we are also going to be going over to Terrae Castle here too. And once we have gone over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer my governor, because he's obviously the main reason why we're actually able to do it. Oh no, wait a minute. These guys already have a bunch of tier 3 buildings. That's pretty nice. Oh, okay. Well, I like that, but it's going to be pretty easy anyway for us once we get our governor over here, because our governor does have some stuff that increases construction speed, and obviously the loyalty situation here as well is probably going to be pretty useful here. And we're going to be going for village growth mostly. Village growth is really, really important for prosperity's sake and, you know, all that wonderful stuff. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, that is going to be it for this episode. As you can see, this is what the map currently looks like. We have 2 rebellions going on very close to us, Lagata and Uxkhal. I might be going over to Uxkhal relatively soon. I'm kind of surprised that actually rebelled, but maybe I shouldn't be, considering we still have had very little success in getting forgiveness of debts. I could try to get it pushed forward. Yeah, we actually got it. We actually got it. These guys didn't want it, but we are going to push it. Yeah, we're going to push it through. We're just going to push it right through there. We are going to thrust it into their faces. And we are going to say, open wide. And then they're going to say, thank you. Because that's exactly what they should be saying. Because, no offense, but this is, in my opinion, the best policy in the entire game. And that's just me, okay? That's just me. That is my own opinion. I personally think it's fantastic because it prevents annoying stuff like this. Because this would not have happened. You know? This would not have happened. This whole rebellion thing. If we had forgiveness of debts, in my opinion. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.